Hello, William Moore here on the Innovate Africa podcast, episode 2. And today we're going to be looking at the creative economy in Africa and how we can leverage on this for a generally stronger economy. Here you have it. Um, what is the creative economy? What does it actually consist of? People sort of generally just think about it, or just art, but it's more than just art itself. It's also the whole machination that accompanies the process of producing art. So, say for example, for movies, it's not just about the films and the film sales. It's also about the big studios, the streaming platforms. You can think of a streaming platform as sort of like a tech product, but ultimately speaking, it's still a part of this creative economy because it does power the creative economy. So just a few stats and numbers to help you just get a little bit of perspective on what this creative economy actually means on the continent. We have from the last stats, I think that was from 2023, $4.2 billion earnings from cultural goods. So this is movies, film, probably art pieces as well, just general goods that are that are created from this economy. You also have 500,000 people directly employed in the cultural goods industry. So this is sort of like the movie industry, the music industry, etc. And then this one is a little bit sad, but it's very, very important to share. 9 out of 10 of every physical copy of film or music you see coming out of the continent is actually a pirated version. In Lagos, for example, we have the popular Laba market, which is sort of like almost like a piracy headquarters, so to speak. And this just really does show you that for context, if you think about it, you have an industry making 4.2 billion, where the majority of the content coming out of this industry is actually pirated. So you can imagine how much money is being left on the table simply because we don't have the right policy, or at least the right enforcement of policy and law around piracy on the continent. We'll get into that a bit later. Okay, so sort of to break down the creative industry into a value chain, I've put forward this sort of three main aspects, of a big three, if you may, as far as creativity is concerned. The most obvious of them is the art itself. So this can be music, a movie, a painting, fashion, because yes, that is also part of the creative economy. Um, just designing ornaments. It's actually a lot of things that we off the bat don't even think of, as pieces of art. But when you think about it, really, they are made by creative people that do consider themselves creative. So it is part of the creative economy. The second link in the chain is the creators themselves. And it's better to think of this more so as a skill component, So there is the value in a film, and there is a value in being a director or being, like a good cameraman. And that value can also be used, whether it's for freelancing or, it can even be exported to work in foreign organizations. It's sort of a long list of things you can do with this skill. So there is value in just not only in the product itself, but also in the skill that allows you to make these products. And you go to places like Upwork, and you can actually see a lot of creatives really putting their talent to use. Perhaps it's something that should also be looked into, as not just how many people the industry employs directly, but how many people leverage the skills to make money for the economy indirectly, sort of like freelancers. And third is the machine. And I've called this the machine because I don't even know the word to refer to it as. But this is where you have your Netflix, your Disney, more so your distribution channels. It used to be primarily, I would say, maybe satellite TV, but now, depending on who you are, some say, oh, the satellite TV model is dying. But yeah, this machine has a lot to do with the the architects of the distribution and the production of these pieces of art. So, firstly, let's look at the art in itself and understanding, the value of IP. It's short form for intellectual property. So you think, sort of thinking of it as a form of economic currency. Every song, painting, film, comic character, and even more recently, content like skits is in its own way an intellectual property that has value. This value can be quantified by cash or by attention. The attention is generally what is monetized into some form of cash. But of course, without a developed marketplace, even the best painter can end up in obscurity in some, like I have this thing I tell my friends sometimes that, if Leonardo da Vinci was born in the wrong time or the wrong place, there is every chance that, his work would just be, or even Michelangelo, the work would just be like on some street artist work, basically. So, and this sort of just shows the importance of having these machines ready that help you take your work from 0 to 100, if I'm allowed to use that phrase. um, then we also have the creators who sort of thinking of creativity as a career path, but I was saying earlier about it being a skill that is by itself monetizable. So outside of the art itself, the skill of creation, which can be in writing, illustration, directing, also presents inherent value, just like any other skill. We talk about all the time, or we have a brain drain for doctors. No one is talking about the brain drain for artists, right? But if you think about it, pretty much, let's use literature for example. Pretty much all the big names in African literature are genuinely published by um, Western press, whether it's Chimamanda, Wole Soyinka. I mean, they also have obviously local press that run, that circulate their work on the continent, but they will tell you that, the major source of income is with these sort of foreign presses. Same thing applies to music. You make the best music, you're going to put it on Spotify or on iTunes. That is the machine, right? But of course, the skill itself has its own value, and that is something that we pretty much, in some sense, even have an excess of at this point. All we need to do is, sharpen these skills and create the right machines for them to work. And of course, last by no means least, the machine itself. Netflix, Spotify, Shudderbees, probably not saying that right. Disney, YouTube, you'll be hard pressed to find a company in the business of art production on a massive scale that is African. But of course, I do have to shout out Iroko TV. Though I know, I think they've sold. I'm not sure if they sold to an African company or not. But of course, there is also Showmax, which is currently the leading streaming platform in all of Africa. It's a South African company. And before that, there was also obviously DSTV, which was the leading satellite television, company in all of Africa. And I think what this really shows is that when there is local investment and people take that leap, you can actually very well compete with the foreign brands, right? And at the very least, we know, okay, the money that goes to Showmax is still circulating within the the African ecosystem. And this is something that I generally think, well, we at AfriLabs generally think is very important. The need for sort of these local alternatives, just, and no one is saying, oh, just only put your stuff here and, don't put your stuff anywhere else. No, but just creating these avenues where African artists, businessmen, etc., can also profit from the distribution of these products, whether it's by starting up our own record labels, our own streaming platforms, and stuff like that. And like Showmax just shows you, oh, upon there, that it is doable. It's not an impossible thing. It's just that obviously it does require a lot of investment, which I guess people seem to find quite scary sometimes. So the solutions, what are the way forward? I mean, I'm been already talking about this. One is finance and infrastructure. Uh, Imagine if all these years where piracy has been running rampant, if that was not the case, and all this money that was being siphoned off by pirates were instead being reinvested into creating bigger film studios, buying better equipment. You can only imagine how far along a lot of these industries would be. And till today, people sort of think of these as extremely high risk investment spaces. But actually, on the contrary, you know, there's been a lot of money being made in the art space now. It's and when you compare it to maybe a lot of people could invest in something like crypto, for example, that could crash at any time depending on the kind of coin you'd buy. We just don't make that investment because I think it's not been popularized yet. There's no. If I thought to myself, not okay, I have even 100,000 naira and I wanted to fund the film, I wouldn't even know where to go. But if I thought, oh, I have 200 naira and I want to buy some crypto, right? I would know, okay, I need to download one of these platforms. So, when it comes to financing, it's not just the money, it's also providing avenues that allow people, like I wish there was some kind of a GoFundMe, that was just for movies but it's not just about me funding you, it's me investing. So there's sort of the kind of things we're thinking about here. Number two, education. Uh, IP is something where most artists understand it only when it's been taken away from them. And it's just like, oh, so I don't own this stuff. They don't even really understand the fact that, when you could literally make an album, for example, and your record label owns the IP rights to that album. So if someone came and said, oh, we wanted to use this song in a film or, stuff like that, you could even, depending on what you sign, of course, you could even get nothing for that. So when we talk about education, it's not just skill transfer, which obviously is super, super important, but also education in things like intellectual property, copyright laws, trademark laws, things that help the creative get a better understanding of how to think about and value their own work. And last but not least, leveraging technology. The good news of the 21st century, as at least 2024, is that technology has constantly brought down the cost of creativity, right? Once upon a time, if you wanted to write, you had to buy papers, quill, I guess, or even like with typewriters, ribbons, and all that. Now you could have the computer, which you already do like 100 other things with, and also use it to, to do your writing. Now you have people shooting short films on cell phones, and it's not just that. Even when it comes to piracy, why would I spend I don't know 1,000 naira, for example, to buy about what 3, 4 pirated movies, where I could go on Showmax, pay 900 naira, and have access to God knows how many. So this move with technology sort of makes it less appealing to give into piracy, where you can actually just go a legal route where you are sure that at least this some of this money will be getting to the artist, or this ecosystem like a Showmax is genuinely still going to put back money because they want Showmax original shows produced for them and stuff like that. So we need to start thinking more of how we can use technology to 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 just improve the creative economy as a whole. At least something that I tell people in the diaspora all the time. Uh, we know how much money is coming in from remittance, from outside of the continent. There is a very big opportunity in investing in these technologies that help to power entertainment, because it's sort of like, you know, most people these days, you can't even imagine living your life without music. But yet, if you met someone, you said, "Oh, I wanted to build a new music platform," people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know. There's already iTunes and Spotify and AudioMac and XYZ." But it's just something to think about. With the way technology is growing, with AI coming through. It was on the news the other time. What was the name of this film producer? I forget his name now. Who's literally put a stop to the production of his film studio because he watched the AI generation of Chat GPT for videos, and he thought, wow, like if we're gonna have AI this good, I don't know if I want to invest this much in building a physical studio. So you sort of see the cost keeps going down the more technology gets in the room. So we also need a voice in that technology, is essentially what I'm saying. And I think that gets us to the end of today. Just a few quick mentions. The AfriLabs Annual Gathering is, of course, now open. You can register. We're going to be having conversations like this, about, what is affecting the creative economy, why is it not growing, why is it growing, what can we do better, what should we stop doing, etc. We're going to be having amazing leaders in the creative space from all over the continent come for this program. So definitely sign up. We obviously we have talks on AI, sustainable energy, just so much stuff going on. And this is all taking place in November. You see the link below, and you can find all the details, and you can register. Of course, there's also the AfriConnect, which is, I guess, the digital house of the gathering. So, if you wanted to meet entrepreneurs, if you wanted to meet innovation hubs, people that fund innovation, this is a good place to start. And that these are people that are very focused on the continent. They would, be more than happy to see your product, learn about what you're doing. So definitely join that. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe for the Kubatana magazine. This is a yearly issue we're going to be launching this year's towards the end of the year as well. And of course, if you have interesting stuff you're working on, we would like to interview you. If you have interesting stuff that you've already worked on, would like to analyze your products, stuff like that. It's just basically a magazine where we push the people spearheading innovation on the continent. And yes, thank you for listening. Of course, I am obligated to tell you to not forget to like and subscribe. And yes, if you want more information, you can visit us at AfriLabs.com. And again, thank you for watching. You have been absolutely awesome. Of course, you can always expect more videos from us like this. And yes, I will see you again soon.